when you got out, basically the mechanized part of being a scout. Is that where you feel like? Did you feel like a real scout when you went light, like Humvees?
Yeah, honestly,
did
yeah.
You feel like, all right, now I'm doing what a scout.
When I ended up on a Bradley, it was kind of like the last FTX, like skipping forward in basic training. The last FTX is the first time that we like.
When we tried the Bradleys.
We drove the Bradley.
Yeah.
So you had to drive the Bradley, the Humvee. And that was like all we knew. I mean, besides like the one gunnery where we shot the Bushmaster for like the first, it was like 30 rounds or whatever. You get in there, pull the trigger, and get out.
Mm-hmm. That's like with the tanks. We got boom, right, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's what happened. But I didn't think I was going to end up on a Brad.
Yeah.
And then when I ended up on a Bradley, that's what I was talking about in the sense of like 4th ID, no badges, no nothing like that, because they didn't need that. It was all these guys that grew up on Bradleys.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, and now I got this vehicle to take care of. I don't know shit about this motherfucker. I don't know anything about 25 Mike. We were taught to be light scouts in basic training, were we not? Like,
it seems like your whole basic training is based off being
light scout. Yeah. We did go over to the motor pool and saw the Bradley, but even our drill sergeants did not hit on it very much. Yeah. It was all about. I thought I needed to know how to build a range card, land nav, route reconnaissance, like everything that is a scout without the Bradley.
What contains it? Yeah. Right.
So I end up on a Bradley, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it was like once I started learning the Bradley, it was shut down. I didn't even use it on deployment, and it was shut down. And then I was on. If you put me back on a Bradley right now, I probably wouldn't even know. I was a dismount the whole time I was on the Bradley too. Like I never drove it, I never shot it, I never fucking commanded it. I was just a guy that sat in the back nodding off until they were like, "Hey, the ramp's down." I'm like, "Okay, OP." You know?
Yeah.
So by the time I got to a position where I could do something on the Brad, the brigade was shut down. I was like, I learned all this shit for no fucking reason.
Yeah, for nothing.
The best thing I ever saw was don't have the fucking barrel elevated when you're trying to go into the maintenance bay. That was the thing that I learned about the Brad. You know what happens to a 25 Mike barrel when you're going into a garage? Bitch will bend like a banana.
The closest I ever got to anything heavy was in Korea. They had Abrams.
Yeah,
the Korean Army had them.
Yeah, the ROK Army has them.
We did a gunnery with them, a live fire gunnery with them, and so like we would do berm drills, and so I'm driving because our driver got sick, so I'm driving, and this fucking Abrams is right here. I can't even open my door, and it's just boom, 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 and I'm like, oh shit, back up.
Okay. You know what's funny is like the whole time I was in a Bradley unit, I spent as a dismount, and once I graduated, I went to be a driver on a Humvee. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It seemed like the longer I was in, the more driving I did.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. As you further you were,
well, I mean, I'm not like trying to toot horns or nothing, but I was consistently Top Gun on like the 50 cal and everything like that, and I actually, I don't know if I still have it, but I had my battalion's high score on the 50 cal gunnery.
I
had a 299 out of 300.
That's something I know what it's like.
It's probably been broken by now, but so it was just constantly, hey, let's let this guy get on the gun and get him trained up.
So hey, will you go down and drive?
Yeah. So it was just like, hey, you drive. And
you know what you're doing.
Yeah. So dismounting, it's like, okay, you know what you're supposed to do whenever you dismont. Let's
get this guy.
Let's get these guys trained up.
And I can see that in a sense. Yeah.
That's what's funny about going light was that like when I got to the 101st, like here I am, the TC of a fucking truck. I've got my driver over here, and I'm screaming down. Now I'm like, oh, this is what my sergeant was like yelling at me about, like whatever. But like as times progress, you start to kind of realize like it just depends on where you are and what's going on.
Yeah.
In the sense of like the driver for the Bradley was a specialist.
Yeah.
But the driver for a Humvee is a fucking private. But then when I get to the light unit, it's the lowest ranking motherfucker as a driver.
Yeah, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Is you start as a driver.
I know the tanker is. Yeah, if you're an E1 and below, it all depends. You're driving.
Yeah. But then I found myself as like I came from a unit where like a lot of E4s and E5s are gunners.
Right.
But then as you get light and you start doing these different things, I was like. Here I am like a truck commander, and then they're like, hey, we want you to be the platoon sergeant's gunner. And I'm like, that's a fucking demotion.
Yeah.
I commanded my own truck, and now I got to go fucking gun.
That is a demotion, yeah.
I'm like, no. It's a promotion because you're gonna go gun for the platoon sergeant, and only the platoon sergeant gets the best.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, motherfucker.
Don't try.
I did my time up there.
Yeah.
Like, I like the seat.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dude, I hate sitting on that strap. Those straps on them Humvees.
So here I find myself as like an E5, like up in the gun, and then now you got to be the best gunner because you are the fucking platoon sergeant's gunner. And I'm like, dude, fuck this. This is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And now I've got a Mark 19, and I'm like, I never shot a Mark 19 like from a truck at gunnery like this. Like all that gunnery shit you talk about was like 240, 50, and now I'm on a Mark 19, and I'm like, this is bullshit. So I was like cussing my fucking platoon sergeant out all the time, and he was like, dude, I just like you being up there. We can talk, we can have coffee, we can smoke cigarettes. I'm like, fuck you. I want my own truck. I like my truck. Because like when you command your own truck, you walk away, you go fucking smoke. It's just like a tank commander. You go smoke joint or cigarettes, whatever, with your people. You come back and the truck or the tank's got to be squared away.
Yeah.
And now this motherfucker's coming back and he's like, "Hey, Sergeant Phillips, is the shit squared away?" I'm like, "I don't know, motherfucker. I've been smoking cigarettes with you, playing cards and drinking coffee. I don't know."
Yeah.
So now my dismount, I'm like, listen, you're a PFC, but listen, you're gonna act like an E4.
Yeah, you've been promoted within the crew.
Yeah.
But then I see that motherfucker dozing off, and I'm like kicking him from the gun. I'm like, if I'm awake, you're awake, bitch.
Yeah. That's it. I know in the tank when I became a gunner, it was nice because you sit down in there, it's just all the road markers.
The worst part about being an E5 gunner with a fucking platoon sergeant, there's two chiefs on the truck.
Yeah.
He's telling me what to do, and I'm looking around, and everybody else like, no, motherfuckers.
See, ours is,
no, don't get this fucked up.
Yeah, see, we didn't have E5 was a gunner, but an E6 was always a tank commander.
That's where the Bradleys were. So you have like the E6 commanding the Brad.
Yeah.
The E5 was the gunner. E4 is the driver, and then you got the dismount that also has to do dismount on patrols and OPs. Is also the bitch of the fucking Bradley. So my dismount team leader would always come by and be like, "Hey, like we got a mission. I need to make sure you get your shit packed." I'm like, "Dude, I got to top off fucking water cans.
Yeah.
Fuel. I got to do fuel. I got to fucking prep Sergeant Etheridge's fucking sleeping bag. I got to lay out the fucking 9 yards of fucking the gunner and everybody. I got to make sure everybody's comfortable.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? You want me to dismount or am I the fucking hotel concierge? Like, I don't know what to do right now."
We were pretty similar, like so for the Humvees, it was, you had your lieutenant and then the platoon sergeant's trucks, and then the other two were the E6s, the section sergeants. And then typically it was E4, E5 were the gunners.
Yeah.
So, and then if you had like more than one in a truck, then you'd have an E4, E5 gun, E4, E5 dismount, and then the private drive, and then
you had the dismount team leader. Even when I got down to light, it was E5, as your dismount team leader. Then you had the two E6s, one for Alpha section, one for Bravo.
Yeah.
You had your platoon sergeant. So you had your Alpha section sergeant had a truck, your Bravo section sergeant had a truck, your platoon sergeant, your PL had a truck, and then you might have one other just like randomly, put in there. And then like you said, it would be like an E5 as your dismount team leader. Then each truck has a dismount, and then you have there's 3 guys assigned to the truck.
Right.
But then you have all your other dismounts, or it just depends on your platoon numbers, how it all breaks down.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Sometimes it would just be like driver, gunner, fucking TC, and everybody else is dismounts.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I hated being in between roles. Like, I hated being like,
what do you want me to do this time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm a dismount team leader this fill problem, and then I'm a gunner next fill problem, and then I'm like, dude, I just want my own shit.
I want to go back and have my own shit.
Well, that's the way it was in Hawaii. If you were relatively experienced, you weren't ever doing the same thing hardly back to back. It was always something different. I'm either driving, and then the next day on the same field problem. The next day I'll be gunner, and then the next day after that I'll be a dismount.
Right.
Whatever.
So you're constantly.
Yeah, it's constantly.
But then when you find yourself in that TCC. Mm-hmm. And you look over and you're like, "Hey, driver, move forward, gunner, we good." And then now you got to backtrack.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, "Man, what the fuck am I doing?"
Yeah.
Because I would find myself commanding a truck, and then the next fill problem, they're like, "Hey, we really need you to go be the gunner for the fucking platoon sergeant." I'm like, What?
See, yeah,
But see, what's funny? Let's go back to the topic that we fucking started on.
yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, I guess
You let us get off topic.
Sorry,
Yeah,
back to
see.
basic.
And
I'll keep us on track.
And we all run on, but like going back to basic, you don't realize that shit's gonna happen to you in the future. You're just so worried about the task at hand,
Getting through
learning
this.
the job,
Getting through this.
Getting through it. That's exactly right.
So like I said, like the time that we drove to Bradley or even drove the hunt, I don't really, dude. That was so quick, so fast.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was to me and with the tanks. It was like a one afternoon. You drove around the track.
That's what.
Yep.
That's what we did. Humvees and the Bradleys in one night.
You got in the. Because you drove the tank and then they had other tanks already lined up. So you got in on a tank. You sat there on the 240 and the loaders, and the drill sergeant's kind of crazy. So you got his sack on your neck, and you're like, let go! So you let go. You jumped out the gunner station. I mean, you probably didn't even have it close on the damn target. Pull the trigger. Boom! All right, get up all this. So you go up the tank, up to the TC spot, and it's the 50 cal. All right, get out! And then you're done.
Yeah.
That was it.
So for us, like,
you get the fuck out of here now.
So I do remember the night that we rotated through the Brad and the Humvee. They had the station set up, but
remember Sanderson ran over a fucking Jersey barrier.
Yeah.
Or no, was that you?
No, that was not me. Don't fucking point to me.
No, hang on.
No, I'm dead serious. It
Are
wasn't
you
me.
sure?
I'm dead serious. That was not me. The time I'm talking about is like when they just had the truck and the Bradley set up. The night you're talking about was that when we had to drive it at night.
Yeah.
And the reason why I know it wasn't me was because I was in the truck with a couple other people that were freaking out about sleeping on guard at FTX. And they were crying in the driver's seat, thinking that they were going to get fucking kicked out of fucking the army.
Okay. I could have swore you hit something when we were driving.
No, that was not me, brother.
Okay. Somebody, but it might have been Sanderson then. Somebody ran over a Jersey barrier with the Bradley.
No shit.
Yeah. That wasn't. I know what you're talking about. It was a day course.
Yeah.
That was not me.
Okay.
I promise you.
Yeah, that nighttime driving, that's some shit.
Dude, there's no goddamn.
No, at nighttime, if you were like, hey, did you hit something? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably,
well, there's no freaking depth perception.
But daytime, the hatch is open. I can
you're
see.
looking through a TV screen on where you're going.
Yeah. And in the tank, it was like almost like a periscope. It sat like this, and that's all you got.
Oh no! See, for us, it's like a square screen.
No, it was like this, and you're just driving like this.
Yeah,
so that's the whole time.
Ours was like the old school, almost like an old school lawnmower steering wheel.
Yeah, like a snapper.
It wasn't the full circle. It was like the two.
Yeah, you know, like the snapper fucking lawnmower.
Yeah,
that's what the fucking steering wheel is.
Really?
Yeah.
In a tank, it's a.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a throttle.
And there, man, I remember how there was like no.
This bitch is like, and you got a gas pedal.
Yeah.
Oh no,
you don't have a brake.
The tank. The brake. That's all you got in the tank.
You let off the fucking pedal, and that's how the Bradley stops.
Yeah, it stops It stops pretty freaking fast too.
Yeah.
But it is literally like it's two handles like this, and it has like a wire.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That's why I was like, how the fuck you?
Yeah.
And that's what it does. Reminds me of the old snapper.
Well, I only drove one in fucking basic training. So
yeah. So you want to go back to the beginning of basic, where we were originally?
Yeah. Going back to like shit. Now I'm in a whole different mindset. I'm like thinking about Bradleys and fucking tanks and lighting.
Okay. Well, then I'll leave.
But let's go back.
Yeah. Do you remember whenever I got second degree sunburn, second day?
Did you
doing PT and they didn't give us
sunscreen?
Remember, I was oozing.
Yeah.
I got sunburned.
So day 2.
Yeah, they were showing us PT and they didn't give us. And this is
August.
end of August in Fort Benning, Georgia.
Yep.
And they didn't give us any sunblock, so we're out there for hours.
Yeah, because day 2 was all about PT instruction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they took us all out to like the sand pit, right?
Yep.
So we're all out in the sand pit,
Gravel
and like
pit.
you spend the whole day just like learning all the different
what you're going to be doing. Yeah.
So
yeah. And I didn't really feel it at first until the next day. I looked in the mirror, my face was swollen, and then it started blistering. And so I remember we were in class, and I could feel it just.
Was you like just second degree? Or?
Yeah, oozing down my face. And like I don't know if it was you or O'Connor, so we had to like stand up and tell the drill sergeant like, look at this, like this is not good. And he was like, oh shit, and they immediately like made sure I was taken care of because they could have gotten in trouble. So they're like, okay, next morning we'll take you to sick call. But it was to the point where like my face turned brown. Yeah. And it started flaking.
Like a burn. Like a burn.
It was, And so, and like every day they had to get me new pillow covers.
Yeah.
Because I would wake up and my face was stuck to it and it was just yellow from all the ooze and everything coming out of it. And I remember taking a shower and like kind of trying to scrub on my face, and I had holes all over my face, and everybody was like grossed out and everything. I wasn't allowed to go outside for 3 days.
So,
I was not allowed to go outside for 3 days. So you guys did the very first obstacle course without me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So what he's talking about is like we did like the confidence course or whatever. It's not the confidence tower. It's like this little like team building.
It's like your first little.
Yeah, you walk across the rope. And all that shit. Yeah, I do. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, you weren't there for that one. You were there for the next one where we did like the tower and we did like you got to climb up the different levels or whatever. But yeah, that's crazy. I forgot all about that. Yeah, you said that. Like, damn, yeah. I remember because that next morning when you woke up and I saw you, I was like,
yeah, everybody was like gross.
I was like, dude, I don't know, there's something wrong.
Everybody was
something wrong
because it was literally from something here over
where the sun was, where you got hit with the sun.
Yeah,
the whole
side of my face.
And it was like swollen and pussed up. And me and you sat next to each other at the. So like they take you in for classroom instruction. You got all these tables, and we're sitting at the table. Yeah, that's what it was. He kept dripping on the table.
Yeah. And because you're not allowed to, like, your hands have to stay here and you're not allowed to move. And so it's like running into my eye and like I'm getting yelled at because I'm constantly having to like wipe my eye out. And finally I had to like get the drill sergeant's actual attention. And like he yelled at me at first. And then I was like, drill sergeant, something's wrong with my face. And he was like, it was Drill Sergeant Riley.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, fuck. He's like, okay. And then, so the next morning they took me to sick call and they're like, yeah, you can't go outside for at least 3 days.
Damn.
And I had to just lather myself in ointments and all kinds. Yeah. And then I had to go back and they had to do like an x-ray to make sure I didn't have any like already cancer cells in my face and shit. Like,
that's bad.
Yeah, it was rough.
But he still got to continue on.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing. You see these guys who want to go home.
Yeah.
Drill sergeant, I don't know. I ain't never had a sunburn.
Yeah.
I think I should go home.
You didn't allow yourself.
No. And also, like, while you guys had left, it was Drill Sergeant Studebaker stayed with me. And he was still drill sergeant, but he wasn't like yelling at me or nothing. And I was just like, drill sergeant, can I like be doing PT or anything like that inside? Or is there anything you can show me from what they're doing? And so he just kind of gave me the rundown of what y'all were doing, and then he like I went under the CTA and like did PT and stuff like that in the shade.
Yeah,
while you guys were out. So
so you're still doing something proactive.
I was trying.
Training. Yeah,
I didn't want to. Yeah.
At least you didn't sit there and just kind of
It's probably good though that it happened early on in the sense of like you didn't miss anything crazy. Yeah. It was all the dumb shit still.
Yeah. Right. It was all basically just instructional, as in
pretty much.
That's going to be your guys'
But
routine.
right after that, they handed out sunblock to everybody.
Yeah.
and made sure we put it on.
But
yeah,
probably made sure. Apply sunblock. Yeah. What's crazy though is like when did you get your weapon in basic training?
When we went to the range.
See, we got ours day 2.
See, I'm not gonna lie to you. When we got there, I was like, "Oh man, it'll be a while."
Oh really?
I thought it'd be a while. I thought it'd be like a couple days.
Yeah, like the first week. Yeah, it was, I want to say it was.
But I remember
we went to the range.
He's dead right. It was like day 2. They were like, "Here's your fucking weapon." And like thinking back to it,
but you guys needed that with your job. See, me as a 10, we went and qualified. And then we broke it down, cleaned it, things like that. Same thing we did with the 240.
But this is what I tell people now that are like, "Oh, AR-15s are bad" or whatever, and I'm like, well, a bunch of fucking 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds are running around with them on day 2 of basic training.
Yeah.
The weapon doesn't become dangerous until the person using it uses it for bad, and there's ammunition.
Well, you know what I mean. Kind of like what just happened up in where was it?
Maine.
Oh, Maine. Yeah.
The news said, "Well, he was a sharpshooter." I'm like, "Fuck everybody else."
Dude
come out of
Maine.
Yeah, everybody. I was a sharpshooter.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
You can spin the fucking thing however you want to, but but I think back to that all the time. I'm like, we were 17, 18 years old, 2 days into basic training, being handled a fucking an AR-15 is an M4A1 and whatever.
Yeah.
sleeping with it, babying it.
I remember the first day we got it. They're like, "This is the last hole you'll ever fuck."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
This is your girlfriend. This is whatever you want it to be.
Stays with you no matter where you go.
Yeah.
But I think like getting that and having the respect of the rifle, you know, even if you've never, me and you both grew up hunting, you grew up
hunting,
you're around guns as well, like, you know, the gun doesn't become bad until the person using it
and that's
uses it in the wrong way, right?
That's what I tried. My whole thing is that's a tool. The weapon is the guy who knows how to use it.
Right.
That's
so
exactly.
But think about that. There's
I mean, you can sit there and look at that thing and tell it to kill all day and it ain't gonna do it.
No. But that's what I'm saying. That's just a tool. The weapon is the man behind it.
You know, but that's the thing, though, is like talking about that in the sense of like, you're 17, 18 years old. Yeah. 2 days in, you're being handed a rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all about education.
But the rifle is.
It is.
Obviously, though, the rifle isn't dangerous because, one, it doesn't have ammunition, and two, you don't know how to fucking use it.
Yeah.
You know, but like, once we had that same fucking rifle from the day that, you know, we got it till the very end.
That's how. When did you guys return them? Like,
the week of.
Yeah, the night before we graduated, we spent the entire night awake cleaning. But that morning, so the morning before graduation is when we turned them in.
Really?
But
so
you know,
the very end.
The very end.
But you know how crazy it was, like when the rifle was gone.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird.
I know we're skipping.
Something was missing. No,
not. You know, it was very foreign when you first got it.
Yeah.
But then when you turned it in, it was very foreign not to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's like, you know, that's the same thing I do with my kids now. Like, people are like, "Oh, your son's 3 years old and you're already having him shoot guns or mess with." I'm like, it's the fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The more my children know about them, the more, and I say that about children, but it's the same with us. Like,
right.
The longer we had it, the more time we spent with it, the more we learned its capabilities, the more we did anything. And that's the first thing you do in basic training. That's one of the first tests you have to pass is break down the M4, put the M4 back together.
Yeah, right.
You know, functions check, all that. You get a whole different respect for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I remember that very specifically in basic, like, you didn't go anywhere, for us at least,
right,
without that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was the first thing you grabbed when you woke up. Yep. It was the last thing you touched before you
went to bed. I figured 19 Deltas and 11 Bravos, I figured that basic training is the same thing. You guys have that rifle with you the whole duration.
So it's very weird to me to see like other basic trainings when like they go to bed and it's like on a weapons rack or it's hanging off their bunk.
Yeah.
You know, for us, like, for me at least, that's very weird to look at.
Yeah.
Because I remember that bitch being underneath the covers.
Yeah. Like, I literally, like, whenever I'd lay on my side, it was on top of my arm.
Yeah.
You know.
See, but again, it was that point where your drill sergeants, where they just come from, that I think they were obligated to make sure you guys were ready.
Mm-hmm.
No matter. You guys, no matter what, they were trying to prepare you guys for what was going on over there.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I agree.
And I think they did a good job. Like, I gotta say, you know, best they could.
They did a damn good job.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think a lot of the lessons that the drill sergeants taught us were. There were sometimes I think things went a little too far.
Sometimes
I think things went a little too far, and then sometimes like. It was probably like the normal teaching, you know, like, oh, this is just like check the block. This is a normal thing. But I think moving forward, like in my career, like a lot of people are like, why are you different from other people? Why are you different from other why are you different from other NCOs? Why are you different? I'm like, for me, I always think back to the drill sergeant. I always think back to Patterson. I always think of Brandon.
I hated their guts at the time, but goddamn.
But now you look back, you respect them.
I respect and understand.
And then to hear Drill Sergeant Patterson later, like, tell you like his thought process and like why they did what they did, and like the things. I think that's how basic training should be taught. I think they set the fucking standard. And I'm sure there's other people that are like, oh, my basic training was hard, or my drill sergeant did. I'm like, okay, but what was the thought process behind that drill?
Right.
And when I break down their thought process and I understand what they were teaching. Now, later on, after doing the things, I'm like, that's the standard.
Yeah.
Just like probably your drill sergeant for the tanker world, and like the sense of like Vietnam, and then like the next conflict is Desert Storm.
Yeah, because
They are teaching you the standards.
They were taught by Vietnam vets, and they kind of just carried that over to us.
Yeah. And then they know what's going on in the world. Right. They know shit's getting crazy. Just like our drill sergeants just came back from that crazy world. They know what's happening. They know what's happened before and after.
And they actually gave a shit.
Yeah, and that's why. Ours. I gotta say, I will never my drill instructors, and I still, but I really basics. They taught me basic training. They did it well. Yeah. I didn't really learn how to be a tanker until I got to my unit. That's where I was taught.
But they taught you the basics of being a soldier.
The basic, I didn't go in there like, oh, good,
But for us, like our drill sergeants were teaching us how to be a scout.
Yeah,
and they did I think they spent more time. I think it wasn't even basic training day one. It was scouts from day one.
Yeah,
it was like how you're going to be a fucking scout.
You're going to be a fucking scout no matter what, right?
Yeah, I'm like I remember them even having classroom instruction and be like, we're not supposed to teach you this for another 3 weeks, but we're going to do this now.
Yeah.
Because in 3 weeks we're gonna teach the advanced portion, and you're like, why are we learning the advanced portion?
Yeah.
And then now I realize because it made me a better scout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I showed up ahead of my peers.
Yeah.
And I think that's how basic training should be for anything. I think if you're going to go through basic, you should go through basic at the hardest fucking level.
Well, and that's my thing. No matter you're a cook, and I think the movie Pan said it best. He told that one cook, I want some leggings on you. I want your helmet on you. And he goes, well, General, I'm a cook. He goes, no, you're not. You're a soldier. That should be everybody's attitude. You're a soldier first.
Well, isn't that what they say with the Marines, right? You're
right.
a Marine first. You're a rifleman.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah. You talk to guys of my age. I'm a Marine. I'm a Marine. I'm like,
and then it's like, okay, well, what was your MOS? And they're like, 03, whatever.
Whatever it is. Yeah. It's like people ask me, what were you? I'm like, I was a tanker. I was a tanker.
We never say.
I was.
I was in the Army.
Yeah,
but we never say I was in the Army. We always say like I was a scout.
I was a tanker.
Well, I usually lead off with like, I was in the Army, and then it'll lead into like, what did you do? I was a scout.
I was in the Army, and then and the 3 other brothers there.
Everybody always assumes that has no idea whenever I say I was a scout there, and then they always ask me, is it like what is that movie that special force movie with Mark Wahlberg? Lone Survivor. They're like, is that like Lone Survivor? I'm like, fuck no. I mean,
it's a lot harder.
In a nutshell,
try getting shot 4 times. We got shot 10.
Yeah, it's like in a nutshell, it's the same mission type. They're just doing it on a completely different level.
Yeah, we're totally different. Right.
Well, that the military's broke down into tiers.
But that to me, I'd say, I jumped into North Vietnam and took on
I like to tell people
the 4th Panzer.
I like to tell people that. I tell people all the time that Hitler didn't shoot himself. I forced him. I got him drunk, and then the gun went off.
Yeah. That's
but going back to that, like the basic training mentality, and I know we've jumped around a lot or whatever, but as you're going through basic, they're teaching you for the future, and it all depends on the drill sergeant that you have at hand.
I think, yeah.
So like even go through the gas chamber, for instance, like them motherfuckers, and I hate to call them motherfuckers, but them motherfuckers took that shit so fucking serious. The gas chamber.
Yeah.
And when's the last time, an American soldier was hit with a chemical agent?
Well, there was an incident where I was overseas where.
Okay, so your generation is what fucked it up for us. Okay, right. Go ahead.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
tell us what I appreciate. You.
Well, when I was over there, though, again, it was one night they were blowing up some ordnance, and the alarms are going off. So everybody, it's panic. So it's gas, mass, jumped in the tank, closed up, started doing kits. And then I was like, had a mask on and we started doing kits and everything. And then, and I was like, fuck. And my tanker and Nick's going, what? He goes, I think I smell fucking peaches. That's one of the scents of the nerve agent. He goes, no. And I like, fuck, I swore I smell something sweet.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck them motherfuckers.
I'm
you
done.
know what I mean? I'm
You
done.
forgot you had a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, that's great. So those came up clear. So it was for a wildfire, and NBC NCO went out there and he did all his shit. So we're sitting in the tank, and it seemed like, I don't know, for at least an hour or maybe longer, we're sitting in these tanks, and got the all clear. Well, we got the all clear, and the alarms are still going off, and they're going, oh, that's probably just something faulty, and
yeah, everybody's making.
But then, like Vietnam vets, it was one of those things that I got the paper where I was downwind from when they blew up this ordinance, and yeah, it was they said there may have been some Asians in there.
There may have been.
Yeah. There's and my wife, I got the letter. She goes, "Were you here?" And I go, "Yeah, we're just like right below it." She goes, "Read the letter," and that's when I started having all my medical problems. You know, my neurological problems and shit like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like, motherfucker. And I told my wife, make up. She got like 100 copies. Every time I had a buddy ask about him, I'd mail him one. Here you go. Yeah. Here you go. Fuck. You know.
Well, let's talk gas chamber.
Yeah. The fun shit. I know for us, they let us have all the fucking milk and chocolate milk we wanted.
Oh, they tried. They tried.
We all knew what was happening.
We knew what they were doing.
Oh no, yeah.
We got told by one of the other some guys that were basically one of the other troops that like when they tell you drink milk and all that, don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a break and we'll talk.